I just want to quickly talk about this before, I simply turn off the video. Josh Primo got released. He himself said it's because he has to deal with some traumas, and it's uncomfortable for me to talk about this a little bit. But I just want to send him best wishes, even though he'll never see this. It's just great energy, positive energy for him. I hope he gets through it. Hope he can come back to play basketball if he wants to, if he is able to. And just take care of yourselves, everyone. Take care of yourselves, everyone. I'm sending my best wishes to him.
2-for-1 opportunity. Beal. Beautiful breakdown. Just couldn't finish it. Here comes Haliburton in transition around the back. No look to Mathurin. What a dime from Tyrese Haliburton.
Mobley. Mitchell, nice ball fake. Takes it to the basket. Oh, Mitchell. Got him. How you doing?
Another day, another box score watching episode, baby. We have a lot of games to get through, so let's get right into it. Hawks move to 4-1 after defeating the Pistons once again. The most important thing for the Hawks was the bench today. Since AJ Griffin got some playing time, he scored 10 points. Jalen Johnson played a lot of minutes. They got a lot of time and they played pretty great. With obviously with Trae Young having his best game of the young season with 36 and 12 assists. And DeJounte Murray contributing with 26, 4 and 5. They played their best games together yet. And it was great to see. As for the Pistons, Jaden Ivey was back from illness and he wasn't great, but Cade Cunningham was. He had 35, 9 and 8. He was taking over in the first half. He got into foul trouble in the second half and wasn't as effective and as aggressive, but he was great. And this game was exactly what I wanted to see from Cade. More flashes like this, and it was just great to see. Next up, the Magic win their first game of the season. As well, Charlotte struggled. Dennis Smith Jr. had his worst game since I was pointing out how happy I am for him. Kelly Oubre had a horrible game, and Nick Richards continues to impress for Charlotte at least. And Mark Williams got some playing time. He had 7 points, 4 rebounds. That's good to see. As for the Magic, they started Bol, and he played great. 11 and 7, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. He looks solid for them, and they seem to really like him, so that's good to see. And Paolo was sensational, 21, 12 and 7, 2 turnovers though, but he was sensational today. And Franz Wagner was pretty okay, and they played the best game overall. They just played their best game of the season. And Charlotte their worst game of the season, essentially. Then we get to my favorite game of last night. Sensational matchup, sensational game. Cavs won against the Celtics at the Garden in overtime. And this was such a sensational game. Donovan Mitchell and Caris LeVert both went for 41 points. They were just incredible. What Caris LeVert hit those threes in overtime. Donovan Mitchell's dunk was absolutely unreal. Even though their bench didn't help them at all. And they got off to a hot start, and Boston came back. They completely buried them in the second quarter. Felt like the game was kinda over, but then they came back. It was a tight back and forth game then. Sensational matchup. I like the Cavs a lot when coming into the season, and they're proving me right so far, even without Darius Garland. That's just great to see for me. We'll see when Garland gets back what's gonna happen. Evan Mobley was also sensational. I love that he's taking those fadeaway turnaround jumpers more. He seems to be more comfortable with them. And I got Chidi Osman for my fantasy, so of course he played his worst game of the season. For the Celtics, Jaylen Brown, he tried to take over late in the game, but well, it was too late, and their overall didn't play that much great of a defense. Their starting lineup, their bench was much better overall. Sam Hauser plus 23. Luke Cornett played some hilarious defense out there. Malcolm Brogdon tipped the balance in the first quarter, then not much was seen from him. Jason Tatum was sensational to start the game, but then kind of fizzled out. Well, he was effective as well, but the game just felt like he wasn't involved in the third and fourth quarter as much. And Jaylen Brown obviously was, but it was weird to see Tatum not get involved. Nonetheless, Marcus Smart continues his worst start to the season. He has been not great offensively, and he continues his struggles. 11 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. just 20% from the field, 2 of 9 from the 3-point line. And it's a tough loss for Boston, but we'll see how Smart, where his 3-pointers come back, if they come back, and not much more to say really. Grant Williams didn't play because of the league suspension, so he was obviously missing out there for them. The Sixers get a very much needed win against a tough Raptors team after a rocky start, as Joel Embiid was not playing since he was ill, and Tyrese Maxey took over the game. He was absolutely sensational. 9 3-pointers, 44 points, 8 rebounds for assists. James Harden didn't shoot much. Tobias Harris, D'Anthony Melton played a lot. And their bench contributed a little bit, but it was all about Tyrese Maxey, who was simply unstoppable. Sensational play from him, and he carried the Sixers to a much needed win. As for the Raptors, well, their defense was tough. That Gary Trent didn't shoot as well as he usually does. So far, Pascal Siakam was sensational still, but they, just didn't have enough today. Couldn't stop. Tyrese Maxey didn't get that going offensively, as they shot just 23% from the 3-point line, 38% overall, which is just not gonna cut it in today's NBA. I mean, in no NBA probably 38% from the field gets you a win. The Pacers get their second win on the season, defeating the Wizards, as Miles Turner had his best game of the season since his second game, but he bounced back from a horrible game last time. 27-10, 5 blocks, sensational. Buddy Hield continues to be great, 25 points. Tyrese Haliburton, double-double machine, sensational player, man, I love him. Jalen Smith, 15 and 7, essentially his averages, I feel like. He's a 15 and 7 guy, it appears. Chris Duarte struggled, Benedict Mathurin had another struggle game, hopefully he'll bounce back tonight against the Nets. As for the Wizards, Bradley Beal, 31 points, 7 rebounds for assists. It feels like when Bradley Beal is more of a facilitator, it helps them win more. Well, this game was all about Kyle Kuzma struggling, and they just didn't get enough stops, didn't play good enough defense to win this game. Well, then a pretty tight matchup between the Knicks and the Bucks, who moved to 4-0 to start the season, the last undefeated team. As the Knicks had their first real struggle game, they shot 39% from the field, 34% from the 3-point line. They shot a lot of free throws, but they missed a lot of them as well. Just a rough night for the Knicks, as their most impressive player was Emmanuel Quickley, who had 14, 4 and 3 with 3 steals in 27 minutes. He was great. Most of them struggled. D Rose was also pretty great in 14 minutes. He had 12 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. That was great to see. As for the Bucks, they got going. They shot 38% from the field, 29% from the 3-point line on this game, which is crazy, just a crazy shooting game. And it was not much about defense play, but just a lot of missed shots, easy shots. And, Grayson Allen at least got going. He had 17 points, 4 of 6 from the 3-point line. Giannis, 50% from the field, 30, 14 and 9. And otherwise everyone just was struggling. Drew got 17, 5 and 6, but he's still struggling from the field. But the Bucks keep going and winning. 4-0 start. Giannis sensational. That's all that matters for them. The Lakers still winless on this young season, and the Wolves got the best of them. LeBron was much better tonight than against the Nuggets, but still not good enough, as he shot just 41% from the field, 16% from the 3-point line, 28, 7 and 5, 4 steals. He was much better today. The body language was better, but AD didn't play, and they just didn't have enough. They just don't have enough. 31% from the 3-point line, much better than their usual stuff. And Russell Westbrook played off the bench, 18, 8 and 3, but still 35% from the field. Just no one played really well for them, except I guess Wayne and Gabriel, who gave him something off the bench, but it's just a bad team. Troy Brown, 4 of 6 from the 3-point line, that's something to look forward to, but he had 4 turnovers with 0 assists, so that's a lot of turnovers. The team is not good, and with AD missing, it's even worse, obviously. As the T-Wolves continue to, ride. Anthony Edwards, who was once again really good today, 29, 4 and 2, as he, 4th good game, 4th win. as I continue to, keep preaching on that. As long as he plays good or great, they win. Rudy Gobert had his best game of the season and best game for my fantasy at 22, 21, 2, 1, and 2. Sensational game from him. Karl Anthony Towns, 21, 8, and 7. He was not bad himself, and they didn't get that much from, D'Angelo Russell or Jaden McDaniels, but they had enough from everyone else. Taurean Prince, especially impressed off the bench. Jalen Noel, 25% from the field. He's essentially still their sixth man, which is weird to see. And he's been great, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it will last, and this game wasn't that great from him. The Bulls lose to the Spurs, who moved to 4-2 to start the season. As that was a cool moment as DeMar DeRozan hit 20,000 points on his career, which is sensational. Congratulations to DeMar DeRozan, 33 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. He was not as great today overall wise, but he still scored, and their defense was just atrocious also, let me add that. Nikola Vucevic continues to struggle. Patrick Williams continues to get at least a little bit better every game, it appears to me. 10 points, 3 steals, much better from him. Ayo Dosunmu still pretty good. Kobe White was sensational off the bench, and Andre Drummond was also sensational off the bench, but they didn't have enough without Zach LaVine today, who was managing his injury. As for the Spurs, Keldon Johnson continues his sensational start to the season. I love the word sensational. 33 points, 3 rebounds for assist, 6 of 12 from the 3-point line. Jeremy Sochan, pretty good start to his rookie season, 13, 6, and 5, as he's already starting. And Jakob Poeltl, who we all know is a great NBA player, especially for what he is asked to do, 21 and 13. I'll be interested if they want to trade him or not, because he's just a great player. So I don't know what the Spurs want to do with him, but he has been sensational. He's a great player, and we'll see what happens with him and with the Spurs. Next up, we have the Nuggets blowing out the Jazz, getting them for their first loss of the season, and both teams going to 4-2 with Lauri Markkanen still continuing his very good play to start the season, 17 and 10 on 50% shooting. He was still solid out there, and everyone else struggled. Everyone else struggled a lot. Colin Sexton at least got to score a little bit, but they just didn't have enough today. 25% from the 3-point line, just not gonna cut it, and just some bad play from their best players. Ochai Agbaji got some playing time, which I was happy to see. He was pretty good for them, at least 9 points. That's good to see. As for the Nuggets, Bones Highland, even though overall from the field he didn't shoot as well, he had 7 threes on 12 tries, 26 points, and some of the threes he was making was on another level. He's microwave. When he gets hot, and there was no stopping him. Christian Brown continues to impress, 10 and 6, 32 minutes, since it was a blowout. Nikola Jokic, just 12, 10 and 6, didn't have to do as much, still struggling from the 3-point line, something to monitor, but it's probably down to fatigue and playing in the Eurobasket games. To me, I would believe that's gonna be it. We'll see when he rediscovers his 3-point shot. Michael Porter Jr. still sensational from the 3, 22 and 13 today. And Jamal Murray had his best game for me. Efficient, didn't force it, didn't have the ball that much. 13 and 1, just good win for Denver. Well, the Pelicans are still missing Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson, and they lost at Phoenix to the Suns. As well, they still played some solid team play. Their starting lineup was great, but their bench didn't contribute at all today. And the bench was the difference. They were missing a lot of pieces. Jonas Valanciunas was still great. Najee Marshall had his best game of the season. CJ McCollum struggled. As for the Suns, DeAndre Ayton got hurt. He tweaked his ankle, which was impressive win for them overall, even though New Orleans was missing their 2 best players, but their best players weren't playing that well, and DeAndre Ayton got hurt. So we'll see. There's no timetable. I didn't see any reports about what his injury is. I just saw that he tweaked his ankle, so we'll see. We will have to monitor that coming up. Mikal Bridges was sensational. Cam Johnson had his best game as a starter, and their bench was sensational also. Bismack Biyombo contributed, Jacqueline Dale contributed, Campaign, Torrey Craig. They played a great team ball today and got the W against the against the Pels. As for the last game of our slate today, we have the Blazers moving to 5-1 against the Rockets. As the struggles continue for the Houston Rockets, Jabari Smith 4 of 13. 12 points, 2 rebounds, not impressive. Şengün 14 and 11, but he was getting abused out there on defense. Jalen Green once again 4 of 19, 11, 6 and 2. I hope he figures it out. He's been, he's had a rough start to the season. Kevin Porter Jr. 16, 6 and 4, but was just not enough with, his other rookies out there. I mean, with his other, co-stars or however you want to call them. I just like to call it that way. It's hard for them to win with Jalen Green and Jabari just not being great or good at all. As for the Blazers, in place of Dame, Shaedon Sharpe started in play. As for the Blazers, Shaedon Sharpe started in place for Damian Lillard, who was hurt for 1 to 2 weeks. Anthony Simons took up that space also. Sensational 30, 5 and 7. And Shaedon Sharpe looks so good out there. 14 points. He looks poised. He looks great. Pretty solid on defense. Yusuf Nurkic was also sensational, 27 and 15. And they got a good team out there. Underestimated how much good wings they have. They got some solid guard play, solid coaching. Simply impressive start with, for Portland. We'll see how they manage without Dame. These next 2 weeks, I'm not sure who they're playing. We have to monitor that. And I'll, check back on that in 2 weeks. We'll see where they are. That wraps it up for today. As for tomorrow's games, the Miami Heat won. As for tomorrow's game, the Heat play the Kings. As for tomorrow's games, there are some interesting games. My Warriors against the Charlotte, I'm excited to watch that. Bulls Sixers could be fun. Hawks Bucks, even though, back-to-backs both here. These should be great matchups. And the Grizzlies Jazz also could be a great matchup, even though the Jazz are on a back-to-back. Some solid matchups tomorrow. We'll see. I'll be here to monitor them. And I'll see you all next week.